Right, here we are on. So welcome for this stretching what does? So welcome to this stretch and introspect. So it's a new idea of like thinking and trying to use our thoughts, our logic, instead of just staying and thinking, maybe writing, journaling. I thought, why not combining one thing that helps us to feel better, like stretches, as well as another thing that helps us to think better, to feel better, thinking. Maybe we'll get more benefits out of it. We'll see. We'll just go through it, all right? I'm gonna do it every now and then, in English, in Italian, maybe in Spanish. I won't stress myself much. It's just a way to discover new parts of myself in a different way. So as I'm focusing for the last week on my wide straddle and inner thighs flexibility, I always start with like around 3 to 4 minutes, leg upside down. Just try to let go some of the tension that my hamstring have. So just open the feet nice and wide. Move the booty as close to the wall as possible. All right, we want to have our lower back touching the ground and our legs nice and straight. One thing very important, let the ankles fall to the outside, right? So we work a bit on the external rotation of our hip joint. And now extend the legs. Maybe you can move the legs a bit lower. Find your edge and stay in that edge. I'm gonna stay here for like 4 minutes clean. Just bring awareness on your belly, on your abdomen, and breathe into it. Don't try to extend completely the leg. You can let the knees slightly micro bend it, because anyway, gravity does the job. You should feel a deep sensation here on the inner thighs. Just let gravity take you down. And as I'm here, I've been thinking a lot during these weeks, trying to understand my emotions a bit more. And yeah, it takes a lot of effort, honestly, the courage to go deep into yourself, you know. Even if nobody hears, it's just you. I feel we're very ashamed of ourselves anyway, no matter what. We're very ashamed to show our emotions even to ourselves, because we are scared of what they may produce, what they may generate on us. Because emotions generate sensations and reaction that we may be scared to experience. I was thinking like anger, you know. Anger is one very strong emotion, because when you think, I don't know, at your past or at a way that we live, we don't want it to dominate us. And you wanna always try to stay chill. Well, at least for me, I don't know. Some people may enjoy anger. And it's about, why do you enjoy anger? I was talking to a friend, right, yesterday, and you were saying this, you know, because why we have like addictions and issues with happiness, why it's so hard to find it. And one thing was that it's because probably we suppress, we suffocate some emotions that throughout the past maybe we exposed, and we didn't get the feedback we were expecting. So instead of being supported and understood, we were made fun of, maybe we were humiliated, maybe we were even punished for it, for expressing our emotion, that emotion in particular. And connected can be to a particular action that you took. I don't know, for example, trying to go to talk to a girl or to a boy, or trying to think out of the box, to be creative. And we didn't get that support, so our subconscious started to create a self-protecting pattern to avoid us get into that state again. So we are scared to be curious, maybe we are scared to be brave, because the effect we think we will get is the effect we got when we were young. Humiliated can be, or punished, or I don't know, simply not being considered for what we did. And so we are lacking this emotion now in our daily life because we subconsciously repress it. And by doing this, we are lacking the effect that this emotion produces on us, which is biochemical happiness released, joy released, like dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, adrenaline even. Hormonal reaction we are lacking. So we are looking for it, we seek it through external factors. We try to introduce it into our body physically. And that's how addictions appear. But the addictions itself, they are not a problem. They are a solution. It's just that they are the wrong solution for our problem. But because we don't understand what's the reason behind, what's the problem, what's the cause, we just keep making ourselves feel good through the introduction of external substances that generate this type of effect on us, this hormonal release. Yeah, it was just cool to think about it, to develop this thought. And I feel everybody can relate to this somehow. As we swap from this white straddle position, we go a bit deeper now into it. Easy, controlled. Try to move slowly. We roll on the back and to the side. Come back up, seated. Try to do the same. So I found out that I really enjoy going deeper into it using some elastic bands. I just place them on my foot here. I actually pass it behind my back. Hook it on the other foot. Looks like quite unique way. Now, adjust the length. Maybe it may rip your hair on the back. If you're hairy like me, I'm quite wild. Maybe you should put a t-shirt, or maybe not, whatever you feel. I don't care, honestly. I got used to it, so. We do the same thing in the white straddle we did before on the wall. Just try to open the legs, spread them wide, and we hook the elastics somehow just a little under the front part of the foot, because if you put it too high, they may flip over and can be painful. Place the elastic on the somehow lower back, and now I want you to Roll the shoulders back, open the chest, allow the chest to come out. With the hands again, we roll the thighs outside. We want to work on the external rotation on the hip, because that's, in my case, where it's stiffness. So I just open the feet, I let the ankles fall out, exactly as in the white straddle, and maybe I pull myself to the toes, and maybe I just place the hands down, and I breathe. Every exhale, I try to tilt my hips more back so my chest comes forward. And the weight of the elastics pulls me forward, alright? Yeah, try to adjust it right under the rib cage. And breathe. Maybe find something that will give you a bit of resistance. I don't have anything here, so actually it's quite shit today because the mat is slippery. Anyway, maybe something that you can hook would be nice, or just the ground, try to grip it with the fingers, or maybe you can just grab the ankles and pull yourself a bit more forward. Right, whatever you feel, try to relax into it. And again, come back to this emotional suppression. I thought like, why do our body, why do our mind actually do this? Because it makes us feel uncomfortable, definitely, right? But one thing that I noticed by doing sports in the last years, because I didn't do sports, let's say for my childhood, during my childhood, in a performance way, in an agonistic way. So the discipline that some athletes have takes them much far in their journey of growth compared to non-disciplined athletes like me. And I thought, why is that? Why does sport have such an impact on us? And as I do stretches, I notice that I don't just notice, I realize, there is tension held in our muscles, in our joints, in our nerves. And if you don't move, the tension stays there. And it's a tension that impacts physically the balance of our body in a way that it doesn't perform at his optimal range, let's say 100%. By how? How does this happen? Let's say if you hold tension on the calves, on the legs, the blood flow can be slower. So blood flow slower doesn't give us, that full strength, that full capacity to use our legs. Or the same for our neck. Having too much tension on the traps may constrict our veins and our arteries from the head, having less oxygenation to the brain. Just maybe a few percent. Yeah, no, we're not talking about we're dying, but it impacts and makes us, for example, breathe faster because there is more pressure. You have to breathe faster, and breathing faster gives us that feeling of anxiety, that naturally we are feeling pumped even when we shouldn't, because we should be like in like a very relaxed situation. Okay, imagine you're reading a book but you're feeling anxious. Why is that? It should be very calming, and yet your body is not calming you down, and it generates anxious thoughts in your head that makes you feel bad, and this anxiety becomes a vicious cycle that makes you even more tensed, so the heartbeat goes even higher, and you feel even worse, you know. And that's why I noticed that really actually working on our health, on our body health, the physical part, such a powerful thing. But again, there are particular things that really help. Not everything, all right? Not every type of sport is actually helping. Because strengthening practices make you stiffer. And that's a big thing. Yeah, you may feel at the end of the workout, you know, they say to the runner's high, or anyway, you know, this endorphin release, which is actually not endorphin release, it's a cannabinoid release in our body. They discovered that it's not the endorphins that you release when, for example, you run for a long time. It releases cannabinoid, our endocannabinoid system, and makes you relax. So, yeah, it's like a hormonal release. Yet, this hormonal release is not a muscle tension release. So, really stretching, yoga, and mobility work, where you're pushed to use your joints deeper than normal, have a really deep impact, you know. For example, now I close a bit the leg as the wide straddle got quite good. I want to improve a bit the forward fold, so just a little, you know, not keep the legs out, the feet, the leg straight, the toes going out, and just pull ourselves more forward, right? Same thing, you just should feel it into the hamstrings, a bit on the inner thighs, and the lower back really going forward, all right? So yeah, this tension release that we're trying to stimulate right now gives us the chance to let the body flow better, the blood, the lymphatic system flow better. And this, it's quite a thing, because when the body works 100%, then also the mind has the capacity to think at 100%, let's say limitless, right? And imagine you're like a car, always in the first gear. You know, you try to go fast, but of course you increase the RPM. The body heats up, tenses up, burns a lot of energy, a lot of gas, and yet you're still at 10 kilometers per hour. Instead of shifting the gears, learning to use your body better, waste less energy on useless activities, and be more productive. So, yeah, another thing I was really trying to understand was like how come people that go to the psychologist need such a long time to understand and fix their issues. And I feel it's because, of course, you work on the mind, but if the body is not giving you the capacity to use the full power of your mind, then again it's a waste, you know. It's not a waste, it just takes time, takes longer, and we are suffering, you know, trying to understand what's going on. And we forget to actually listen to the body. You know, in yoga, again, this is like a thought pattern that I logically developed myself, which is not, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's my idea of thinking. And you know, yoga it's described as 8 limbs, 8 levels. Ashta, 8 levels of yoga, no? And the first 4 levels are working on the physical aspect of yoga, while the other 4 are working on the spiritual mindfulness practice. Why is that? That physical part is right before? Because it's exactly what I understood is unless you can fully be conscious of your body, of your mind, only when you're controlling and you're dominating your body's capacity by listening to what the body tells you that needs and giving it. So once you master this physical awareness of yourself, you can level it up to the mind. And it's quite often found in a lot of religions, philosophies, but yet the physical part is not so prevalent, dominant. It's discipline what's really important, the daily practice, the daily work. But this daily work, there is no reference on what to follow. And I found, there are many ways of working on the physical body. My personal discovery, close a bit now, going to the forward fold. Maybe pull the butt cheeks back. Maybe. It's like, really physical practice has such a deep impact on your well-being, your physical state. Your physical state has such a deep impact on your mental and emotional state because it allows you to really be open to listen to yourself. Maybe that's, it's listening, the listening part that we are lacking. We don't listen enough to what the body tells us that needs. We just do it because, it's cool. Nowadays, it's cool to do this type of training. It's cool to do that. It's cool to do this. People telling, and you may think I'm doing the same, Yeah, whatever. I'm just sharing how I feel, But you can stay superficial and try to say like, when you hear somebody, why do you like playing football? Because I feel good after. Okay, awesome. How do you feel? What do you feel? And they will tell you, I feel light. All right, what does it mean light? That's the awareness part behind lacking, to understand what this light sensation represents. And once you go dive deeper into understanding the emotions, you may be able also to understand better what you need and see if you're doing something that it's harming your body or making your body improve. And it's quite fascinating, really, talking about, for example, how, let's say, smoking one cigarette or drinking one glass of wine or whatever, smoking a joint once in a while doesn't have an impact on yourself if you don't let the substance impact you. But now let's look from a different picture. If you really believe that your body is the most important thing we have, it's our house, okay? It's not these walls. It's our house, the house for our soul, energy, whatever you can call it, mind. And you're letting toxins damage it, even a little, because you believe that every 6 months, every year, you do a cleanup, to just keep it, to remove the trash. That's good. But still, why would you allow your house, once you understand how important it is, to be trashed? It takes a lot of effort to do it after, the cleaning, because you won't just clean one thing, one cigarette, one joint, one glass of wine. You'll have probably to clean a lot of trash, emotional trash, anger that you said, oh, okay, it's okay, it's gonna pass. But then a little bit of trash of anger, a bit of trash of sadness, a bit of trash of some junk food, whatever, it's a lot of trash. This cleaning, may take a while. Why not keeping an auto control straight away? Why not implementing a straight away behavior that tells us before we do something bad to analyze, is it gonna be bad for me? Is it gonna be good for me? And I feel once you implement this auto control system, you will realize that smoking one cigarette, smoking one glass of wine, it's really useless, because what you get out of it, it's just a small kick of dopamine. And what I notice even nicer on me, the fact that I realize this before I drink or before I smoke gives me already that dopamine kick, So I feel awareness, once you develop this awareness of what the body needs, of health, you bypass the effect that a cigarette would have. Because you think, okay, the cigarette makes my head light for 5 minutes, but then maybe if you remember the sensation of after smoking, that you may feel a bit twitching, you're like, actually, look, I would get, let's say, a lighted head for 5 minutes, and then a half an hour feeling of anxiety, of paranoid. So is it worth? See, again, awareness takes us into understanding what's happening into the body and makes us produce already that dopamine release, that oxytocin, because I feel it's self-love towards you by understanding this. So it's like, oh, look, I'm aware that this is bad. Wow. It's like, oh, bravo, Rafa, for realizing it. Look, I'm giving you a hug. And the body sends you some oxytocin. You understand how cool is this? And I feel it's like something that everybody should try to achieve. Because it's too often nowadays, it's mainstreamed awareness, but nobody properly tells you what does it mean, yeah, conscious breathing, feel mentally clear. Yeah, but let's go deeper, what's actually happening when you're aware, right? Because we are biochemical machines. So let's understand deeper what's happening. And once you understand, I feel what I'm telling you right now can be that I don't know if it's tested, I don't know if it's true or what, but I feel that if we try it, to observe it, okay, to analyze it, it will be somehow what I tell you, because it's a hypothesis that makes its logic based on, like a logic pattern. So maybe, yeah, this can be a quite interesting way to approach our life, no? Build up awareness from a physical, biochemical point of view. Understand what awareness produces in us physically. What hormones, what molecules, what systems, what neuronal, systems turn on. All right. Yeah, let's see. Next time, discuss a bit deeper. All right. Oh, my legs are quite stiff now, so slowly remove the elastic. Madonna. Easy, no rush. Woohoo, papito. Hands behind the back. Slowly start shaking the legs. Now, one thing that I like to do is placing the feet slightly wider than my hip distance. And imagine it's raining on a windshield wipe. With the knees left and right. Madonna. Woohoo. Quite feeling, muchachos. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow for another stretch and introspect. Ciao. Ay, no mames. Se acabó.